everyone. Welcome back to English Over Tea, Listen and Speak. I'm your host, Anna, and I'm so happy you're joining us for another chat. Today, we are sipping on some Earl Grey and talking about something that is, well, it's everywhere. We are talking about artificial intelligence, or AI, and what it means for our jobs in the future.
Hi, Anna. Hi, everyone. Yeah, AI is definitely the hot topic right now. But before we get into the serious stuff, I have to tell you what happened this morning. My smart vacuum cleaner, the little robot that rolls around the floor.
Oh, I know those. They're supposed to make life easier, right?
Supposed to. Well, I was trying to be tech savvy and programmed it to clean the living room while I made coffee, but I guess it got a bit confused. I found it 10 minutes later in the bathroom trying to clean my fluffy bath mat. It got stuck and was just spinning in circles, making this sad little beep. It looked like a turtle on its back.
That's hilarious. It just shows that even intelligent machines can be a bit, well, not so smart sometimes.
Exactly. And that's a perfect way to start our talk. People are so worried that robots or AI will take all the jobs by next year, but my vacuum cleaner can't even handle a rug.
That's such a good point, Dan. There is this huge fear and reality gap. People see headlines about AI replacing millions of workers, and it feels scary. But when we look at the history of humans, we've actually seen this before.
Oh, for sure. Think about it. Tens of thousands of years ago, everyone was a hunter or a gatherer. Then we started farming. Then we had the Industrial Revolution with factories. Every time a new technology comes, the old jobs change and new ones, well, they just crop up.
Wait, Dan, that's a great phrase. Let's stop there for a second for our listeners. Crop up. Could you explain that?
Oh, sure. To crop up means to appear or happen unexpectedly, like you aren't looking for it, but suddenly, pop, there it is. For example, new problems often crop up when you start a big project. Or in this case, new types of jobs will crop up as AI develops.
Perfect. So even though some old jobs are disappearing, new ones are appearing. But we have to talk about the great shift. AI in 2026 is really good at routine tasks.
Right. Routine tasks are things that are repetitive. Things you do the same way over and over again, like data entry or sorting through thousands of documents or even basic accounting. Machines don't get tired and they don't get bored.
Exactly. In the past, companies hired people to do a lot of filing, putting papers in folders and organizing them. But now we have digital fatigue. Humans are tired of doing boring, repetitive work. AI is actually taking those boring jobs away, so humans can move toward more creative roles.
It's like the computer is the junior developer or the assistant. It does the heavy lifting with data so we can focus on the big picture. Some studies even say that for young people, entry-level jobs, the first jobs you get after school, are changing the most because they used to be mostly administrative and digital.
Yes. For example, instead of just entering numbers into a spreadsheet, a new worker might spend their time looking at what those numbers mean and talking to their team about it. It's a shift from being a text executor to being a thinker.
But we should probably tell our listeners to take it with a pinch of salt when they hear that all jobs are going away.
Oh, another idiom. Tell us about that one, Dan.
Take it with a pinch of salt. It means to doubt that what you've been told is 100% accurate. You don't completely believe it. For example, The weather report says it will be 40 degrees tomorrow, but I take it with a pinch of salt because they are often wrong.
That's very useful. So don't believe every scary headline you read. The reality is that we are moving from routine labor to creative productivity.
I like that. Creative productivity. It sounds much better than filing papers all day. It's really about AI and humans working together, collaborating. Like AI can write a basic email or a report in seconds, but a human has to make sure it has, well, soul.
A machine with a soul. We're seeing this evolution everywhere, from the office to the farm.
It's definitely not as scary as it sounds if you stay curious.
So, Dan, at the end of our last segment, you mentioned a machine with a soul. That really got me thinking. We often hear that AI is becoming empathetic or supportive, but is it really? Or is it just, well, pretending?
Well, I actually tried one of those AI well-being apps last week because I was feeling a bit stressed about, life. I told the AI I was sad because I couldn't find my favorite pair of lucky socks. And the AI replied, "I am sorry for your loss. Losing footwear can be statistically inconvenient." Statistically inconvenient.
Haha, statistically inconvenient. That is so robotic. It perfectly illustrates the difference between sympathy and empathy. You see, some people argue that AI can give you sympathy, which is just acknowledging that you are sad, but it can't give you empathy. Empathy is actually feeling what another person feels. A machine just doesn't have the human touch or that human feel that builds deep, meaningful relationships.
Exactly. It's like it's just processing numbers and patterns, not actual emotions. It might say the right words, but it doesn't get it. And that leads us to the human edge. There are things humans do that AI just, well, it struggles with, like complex problem solving and having a moral compass.
A moral compass. That's a good one. It means your internal sense of what is right and what is wrong. In high-pressure jobs, like being a judge or a doctor, you need moral judgment. AI follows algorithms and pre-existing data, but humans, we can look at a situation and see the gray areas, the parts that aren't just black and white.
Right. And speaking of doctors, that's a great example of a high-touch industry.
Oh, wait. Let's explain that term for our listeners. High touch.
Good catch, Anna. High touch refers to businesses or industries where personal interaction and human contact are the most important parts. It's the opposite of high tech. For example, nursing is a high touch profession because patients need emotional support, not just medicine.
Perfect. And it's interesting because even though AI is getting really good at reading medical images like x-rays or CAT scans, it can't replace the doctor sitting next to you. The AI might find a problem before a human can, but the human doctor is the one who provides emotional relief and comfort.
Yeah, I read that in the future, we might be like the CEO of our own health, and the AI will be our super intelligent assistant. It does the data work, but we and our human doctors make the final decisions. This is why fields like healthcare, coaching, and even teaching are considered safe or AI-proof.
It's all about those soft skills, isn't it? Things like critical thinking, judgment, and emotional intelligence. Experts are saying that instead of just learning hard skills like coding, which AI can do now, we should maybe focus on things like psychology or philosophy.
Philosophy? My parents would have been so happy if I told them I was studying philosophy to save my career. They would have thought I was, well, joking. But it makes sense. Understanding why we do things and how to interact with people is becoming the most valuable currency in the job market.
It really is. We have to remember that we aren't just text executors. The best workers are the ones who think the deepest, not just the ones who type the fastest.
You know, it's funny, we're all in the same boat here, trying to figure out this new world.
Oh, in the same boat. I love that one.
Yeah, in the same boat means to be in the same difficult situation as everyone else. For example, we are all in the same boat when it comes to learning how to use these new AI tools.
Exactly. And if we stay aware and keep our human edge, we won't become slaves to the technology. We stay the leaders because we have the creativity and the imagination that a machine, no matter how many books it reads, just can't copy.
I mean, think about art or music. AI can make a new song by looking at thousands of old ones, but it isn't creating from its own life experience. It doesn't have a subconscious mind or a powerhouse of memories to draw from like we do.
That's so true. Our subconscious mind is thousands of years old. It's part of our evolution. AI is just working with the data we give it right now. So, while the machine is busy calculating, we should be busy connecting.
Connecting and maybe finding my lucky socks. I bet the AI could find them if I gave it a camera and some searching algorithms.
Well, let's hope it doesn't get stuck on the bath mat again. So, Dan, we've talked about what machines can't do, like empathy and that soul we mentioned earlier. But we also have to be honest. Machines are getting incredibly good at the things they can do. In fact, some experts say AI has developed even faster than anyone expected in the last couple of years.
Oh, tell me about it. It's like they've gone from being high-speed morons to actually being able to reason through problems using something called chain of thought. I tried to use one of those AI tools to help me plan a vegetarian dinner party last week. I told it my friends are picky, and it didn't just give me a list of recipes. It actually thought about the flavors and suggested a theme. It felt like I had a world-class chef in my pocket.
A world-class chef in your pocket. That's a great way to put it. And that brings us to a huge shift in how we work. In the past, if you wanted to work with computers, you had to learn complicated code, languages like Python or C++. But now, the CEO of GitHub says the language of the future is actually just natural language.
Natural language? You mean just talking like we are right now?
Exactly. We are moving into a world where anyone can program a machine just by giving it a clear prompt. But even though it's easier to start, we still need to learn the ropes to do it well.
Wait, learn the ropes. That's a classic one. Let's break that down for our friends listening.
Good idea. To learn the ropes means to learn how to do a particular job or activity. It comes from the old days of sailing ships, where sailors had to learn which rope moved which sail. So, for AI, it means learning how to give the machine the right instructions to get the best result. For example, it takes a few weeks to learn the ropes of using AI for graphic design.
That makes sense, because if you don't know how to speak to the AI, you might get a hallucination. That's when the AI just makes something up that sounds true but is totally wrong.
Yes, we've all seen those. That's why we need to move from being text executors, people who just follow instructions, to being orchestrators or architects. You have to define the vision and then guide the machine to build it.
I like that word orchestrator. It's like being the conductor of an orchestra. You aren't playing every instrument, but you are making sure the whole song sounds good. But Anna, for people who are worried about their specific jobs, what does the roadmap look like?
Well, it starts with learning how to learn. Because technology is changing so fast, a specific skill you learn today might be outdated in a few years. We need to be adaptable. Some people call this just-in-time learning. You learn exactly what you need, right when you need it.
It's almost like we are all becoming full-stack humans.
Oh, full stack. Let's explain that one too.
Sure. In the tech world, a full-stack engineer is someone who can do everything, the front part that users see and the back part where the data lives. In our daily lives, being full stack means being ready to wear many different hats, being a bit of a designer, a bit of a manager, and a bit of a tech expert all at once.
That's a powerful way to look at it. Instead of the death of jobs, some researchers are seeing a job singularity, a massive explosion of new types of roles. We're seeing micro corporations and single-person unicorns. That's a one-person business worth $1 billion because AI gives one person the power of a whole team.
Wow, so instead of working for a giant company, you could basically be your own boss with an AI junior developer helping you.
Exactly. And while some routine jobs are declining, others are growing like crazy. Between 2015 and 2020, jobs in the AI sector, like data scientists and web developers, increased by 119% in some places.
119%? That is a huge jump. It's almost like the fear of AI taking jobs is actually a blessing in disguise for some industries.
A blessing in disguise. Tell us about that one, Dan.
That's a very common idiom. It means something that seems bad or unlucky at first, but actually results in something good happening later. For example, losing my boring office job was a blessing in disguise because it forced me to start my own successful business using AI.
I love that. It's all about perspective. If we see AI as a co-pilot or a useful servant rather than a dangerous master, we can use it to take care of the boring, repetitive stuff so we can focus on being creative.
Right. We let the machine do the heavy lifting with data, and we do the heavy thinking with our human brains. It's about building a future where we aren't slaves to the technology, but the ones leading it.
And that leadership starts with staying curious. We shouldn't hide from AI. We should embrace it as a creative partner.
Well, I'm ready to embrace my AI partner as long as it doesn't try to clean my bath mat again.
And you know, Dan, before the break, we were talking about how the language of the future isn't just zeros and ones anymore. It's actually, well, it's English or whatever language you speak at home. It's called natural language.
Right. I mean, I remember hearing about people in the early 2000s saying that every single job would eventually be a programming job. Back then, that sounded like we'd all be staring at green code on a black screen like in The Matrix. But the CEO of GitHub recently said that the future of programming is just talking to the computer in plain language.
It's such a shift. AI can now write thousands of lines of code, fix bugs, and even create entire apps from a simple prompt. But, and this is a big but, Dan, just because the machine can do the heavy lifting, it doesn't mean we can just sit back and nap.
Oh, definitely not. I actually read a study that said about 55% of developers are using AI tools now, but only 30% of them accept what the AI gives them without checking it. If you just trust the AI 100%, you might learn the hard way that machines make mistakes too.
Ooh, let's explain that phrase, learn the hard way.
Sure. To learn the hard way means to learn something by making a mistake or having a bad experience rather than being told or prepared. For example, I didn't back up my computer and I lost all my files. I guess I learned the hard way. Or with AI, if you don't check the AI's math, you'll learn the hard way when the project fails.
Exactly. We have to be the orchestrators. Think of AI as a very, very smart junior developer on your team. They are fast, they are efficient, but they don't always understand the why behind the task. They don't understand long-term business goals or the human context.
Right. It's like the AI is raising the floor, making the basic work easier, but humans are the ones who have to raise the ceiling, the highest level of what we can achieve. So if someone is listening and thinking, okay, what do I actually do to stay ahead of the curve? What's the roadmap?
First, let's define ahead of the curve.
Good idea. To be ahead of the curve means to be more advanced or to have more information than others in a particular area. You're seeing the trend before everyone else. For example, by learning AI tools now, you are staying ahead of the curve in the job market.
So, to stay ahead of the curve, the roadmap isn't just about learning a specific tool. It's about learning how to learn, because the tools we use today might be gone in 2 years. The most valuable skill is being adaptable.
And it's about going full stock. In the past, maybe you just did one thing like data entry or graphic design. But in 2026, a full stock human is someone who can wear many hats. You might be a bit of a designer, a bit of a project manager, and a bit of a tech leader all at once.
I love that. And don't forget the foundations. Even if the AI writes the code, you still need to understand how data structures and algorithms work so you can guide the machine correctly. You need to be a visionary who can define meaningful problems for the AI to solve.
It's also about empathy and responsibility. AI doesn't feel responsible if it makes a mistake, but as a human leader, you have to ensure that what you're building is actually good for people. You have to make those tough decisions that require a moral compass.
You know, I heard a great quote. The future doesn't belong to those who code the fastest, but to the ones who think the deepest. It's about moving from being a text executor, just typing what you're told, to being a bridge builder between tools, teams, and people.
So, basically, the more human you can be, the more you can collaborate, communicate, and think critically, the more AI-proof your roadmap becomes. It's a bit ironic, isn't it? The more tech we have, the more our human traits matter.
It really is. It's like the machine is forcing us to stop being robots at work and start being human again.
I'll drink to that. Well, my tea is almost gone, but I think we have one more part to go to really wrap this up with a future-proof plan.
Definitely. We need to talk about those human-only industries that are actually booming right now. We've covered so much ground, haven't we, Dan? From robot vacuums getting stuck on rugs to the human edge and how to speak the language of machines.
We really have. It feels like we are at what some experts call a popcorn moment in history. You know, you put the kernels in the oil and for a while nothing happens. Then suddenly, pop, 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 everything changes at once. That's where we are with AI right now.
I love that image. It's a tipping point. But for our listeners who are thinking about their own careers, we need to leave them with a clear, future-proof roadmap. If the routine tasks, the boring stuff, are being handled by AI, what should we focus on?
Well, first off, we should remember that not all jobs are digital. Some of the most AI-proof jobs are actually blue-collar trades. I'm talking about plumbers, electricians, and technicians. These roles require physical movement in non-standardized environments that robots just can't handle yet. A robot might be able to write a poem, but it can't fix a leaky pipe under your sink.
That's such a good point. And even in the professional world, jobs that require high-touch interaction like nursing, therapy, and social work are incredibly safe because they rely on empathy and moral judgment. AI can give you statistical sympathy, but it can't sit with you and truly understand your pain.
Exactly. So, step 1 of the roadmap, focus on your human skills. Double down on empathy, complex problem solving, and communication. Step 2, use AI as your co-pilot or your super intelligent assistant. Think of it as having a world-class staff in your pocket to handle the data while you focus on the vision.
And step 3, perhaps the most important, is to learn how to learn. Don't just learn one specific software that might be gone in 2 years. Instead, stay curious and adaptable. As Lao Tzu said, tools change, but principles last.
You know, I was reading about Mustafa Suleyman, a big name in AI, who told his 6-year-old nephew that AI is like a clever piece of software that's read the whole internet. It's not a person, but it's becoming a digital companion. We need to learn how to live with these companions without losing ourselves.
I think that's the perfect summary. We want to be the leaders, not the slaves of the technology. We use it to raise the ceiling of what humans can achieve. Before we wrap up, we have one last phrase for our listeners to stay on top of things.
Oh, that's a perfect one for today. To stay on top of things means to stay organized and informed about a situation so that you can control it or deal with it successfully. For example, with technology moving so fast, you really need to read the news every day to stay on top of things. Or, she uses a digital assistant to help her stay on top of her busy schedule.
Very useful. So to our listeners, stay curious, focus on your human soul at work, and use these new tools to make your life easier.
And don't worry too much about the scary headlines. Humanity has survived the steam engine and the internet. We're going to survive this too. We just have to keep learning and keep talking, preferably over a nice cup of tea.
Precisely. Well, that is all the time we have for today's episode of English Over Tea, Listen and Speak.
We hope this discussion helped you feel more confident about the future and gave you some great new vocabulary to practice.
If you enjoyed the show, please subscribe to our channel and leave a comment. We'd love to hear from you. What do you think is the most AI-proof skill?
We can't wait to read your answers. Until next time. Keep listening, keep speaking, and keep learning. Bye, everyone.
Goodbye.